Very good evening to all people present in today's interaction session. This is our second interaction session with the students of the course on aircraft design. And I noticed that one student by the name Vedant Nehete has already joined, and there are, I think, a few others who are joining. So welcome to the session. And I'll be happy if students utilize this session to ask their doubts and to raise questions. See, you have a discussion forum in the course which allows you to interact with us during the duration of the course. But these interaction sessions are meant to ask specific questions and doubts. Okay. So whatever queries you have, try to avoid asking questions which are related to the assignments, because we don't want this forum to become a forum where your assignments are sorted out. For that, we have the discussion forum. This session is to ask queries which are beyond the normal classroom, beyond the normal classroom questions, and questions which are not covered, or questions on topics of aircraft design which are not covered in the syllabus or which are not covered in the course. Those questions are the ones that we would like to welcome in these sessions. Okay. So don't try to use this session as a session where you can get answers to the assignments which you are not able to answer. We would like to avoid taking such questions. And our TA Namanuddin is already online. If he finds that there is a question which is from the assignment, he's going to alert me, and I'm not going to answer that question. Okay. Yeah, the other TA, that is Shantanu Gulavani, he is also there with me here, and he's working on the problem or the doubt which Vedant has asked regarding the constraint analysis. So friends, the floor is open for you to interact with us and to talk to us about anything that you would like us to clarify or illustrate, or maybe even just go beyond the normal classroom portion. So the floor is open. Oh, that's a very standard question. The the one engine inoperative condition is only applicable for multi-engine aircraft. If you have a single engine aircraft, then you cannot go for those constraints. Okay. So, if you have a single engine aircraft, then obviously you cannot have you cannot say that one engine is inoperative and still I will continue. Then you will simply abandon and you will come down. So you cannot proceed. So these calculations can be done only if it is a multi-engine aircraft. And in general, transport aircraft in general are multi-engine. And you know that as per the explanation. Okay, so I think Noman says that he's going to clarify this in the discussion forum in detail. So therefore, we need not discuss it here. We will not discuss it here. Okay. Thanks for updating me, Noman. We will not take this question further. The floor is open to other questions. Yeah, the floor is open. I mean, I'm just waiting. This is a facility which is given to you by NPTEL to interact live with the faculty. And it is up to you whether you utilize the faculty or not. We are here to answer any queries that you may have. And remember, the queries that you may have, though we would prefer that they are related to the course, but if you have even some general queries, then definitely those queries can be taken up. Okay, so look, I have a presentation with me regarding a competition which I showed last time also. But I would like to show that only in the end when there is a requirement. I'll be more happy to interact with you. So Vedant has a question about, is it compulsory to have thrust loading values in 0 point, or they can be any other number of fraction? Generally, the unit for thrust loading is the thrust produced in newtons by weight in newtons, or thrust in kg by weight in kg. So therefore, the values are generally, between zero point 0.2, 0.3 to maybe 1.2, 1.5. But if you change the values, if you change the units, you may get some other values. But generally, they are between 0.1 to about 1.5. 1.5 is rare because such a high thrust loading is normally not required for typical aircraft, unless you have extremely high requirement for acceleration or zoom climb requirement. Only then you will have thrust to weight ratio so much more. Generally, it is not beyond 1.2. So from 0.1, 0.2 to 1.2 would be the typical range for the thrust loading if the numerator and denominator are both the same unit. But if one is in newtons, the other is in kg, then of course the numbers can be around 10 times more. So Vedant has a question, can 1.5 TYW be defined for military as per requirement? See, TYW is not defined. It is always estimated or calculated for a particular requirement. So if there is a requirement, a critical requirement, which needs the value to be 1.5, it can be. But I have not seen such high thrust to weight ratios in an aircraft. I've generally seen with afterburner, etc., I've seen the TBW to be only about 1.2. And without the afterburner, generally it is below 1. But there could be a very specific design where it could come to a very large number. But that will be only if there is a specific requirement like that. It doesn't happen in general. Similarly, for some aircraft, the value of TBW can go also below 0.1. Very, very small engine is required. For example, if you're designing a motor glider, what is a motor glider? A motor glider is a glider with a small engine attached to it, so that it becomes independent of the launching mechanisms on the ground. So it's a self-system, but the thrust required or the thrust produced by the engine in motor glider is not to meet any speed requirement. It is just to push the aircraft so that it can be lifted in the air. So therefore, in that case, we may have a very low T by W, 0.1, even lower. Could be. Yes, Naman is requesting other learners who are there in this particular session not to hesitate and ask their queries. Okay, so at the same time, I would like to know who you are and where you are from. So if you don't have questions, at least can you please type, just tell which college you are from and which year you are in. If you are a student, or if you are working somewhere, you can mention about your employment details. So it will be nice to know our audience. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, at least you tell us about your background. So use the discussion use the live chatting session to type out your answers. Tell us about your college, which year, what branch you are studying, or if you are working, tell us about your background and where you are working. Dhaval Srivatsava. Um, okay, here's a very interesting question that are aircraft designs also copyrighted? For example, if a company designs an aircraft, then another company cannot use it the same. Is it like that? So look, for design, there is no copyright, but there is something called as design registration. So you can register your design so that nobody else can just simply copy it. But uh, if a design is registered, someone else cannot directly copy it, but someone else can be inspired by that design and design on their own. But there is a lot of talk in the aviation circles about the Tu-144M aircraft built by the Russians is a copy of Concorde, and then there are some giant Chinese aircraft which are supposed to be copy of the Western aircraft. So I would say that they are not copies, but they are inspired or they are influenced by the design of these successful aircraft. So yes, there is no copyright, but I know that there is a design registration. Okay, so Vedant has now clarified that he is a student of final year aerospace from Sandeep University, and he has also worked upon aircraft structure and cabin modifications and design of the LOPA. What is LOPA? Can you explain, Vedant? What is LOPA? Lakshmi Shah. So, okay, so Sumukh from Hassan, Karnataka completed second year PUC this year. Is it a fairly good option to opt for aerospace engineering? Sumukh, aerospace engineering is an option that you should opt for if you are interested in aerospace engineering or if you really want to know more about the working of aviation. There is a problem with employment. I agree that the jobs which are available today, where your aerospace engineering knowledge can be directly used, that knowledge is probably after doing an undergraduate degree, you may not be able to get a job where your aerospace knowledge can be immediately used. If you are lucky, you might. Okay. Usually, people have to do a MTech master's program or even a PhD program to be able to work in the field. Okay. So, if you are very much oriented to do a job after undergraduate degree, then aerospace is not a very safe branch, I would say, because you will get a job, but you will get a job because of your other skills and knowledge, not because of your aerospace engineering knowledge and skills. Because there are very few companies who are able to harness the knowledge from an undergraduate and use it for their purposes. They normally prefer to go for MTech or PhDs. Okay. So therefore, take a decision based on your own plans. If you are really interested in aerospace engineering, you would like to go for higher studies, then I would recommend that you go to but it is important to go to a good university also. There are many colleges in the country which offer aerospace engineering, but vast majority of them are not good because they don't have the kind of faculty, facilities, atmosphere, culture. So therefore, you will waste your time and you will get frustrated. So be very careful in choosing. Whenever you have an option in front of you, you are welcome to consult people like me who are in this field for a long time. We also visit a lot of engineering colleges. We are adjunct faculty or member of the board of studies of so many colleges. So we know which university is good, which is okay, which is not doing good. So therefore, it is good to take advice from people who know. Abedan, thank you for clarifying that LOPA stands for layout of passenger accommodation. This is something that I have learned from you today. Rajdeep Kaur has a question about NPTEL grades. Are they internationally acceptable, sir? Now, this is something I would like to tell you that, see, acceptability of NPTEL depends on, uh, so uh, NPTEL, people are aware that this is a free course. There is no commercial entity in this. It is by the government, and they also know that established professors from uh, established institutes are the ones who take these lectures. So there is a lot of respectability, according to me. But when you apply to a university, and if you want to take a grade transfer or something, I don't know whether that is going to be acceptable. Okay. Lakshmi Shah, you are asking a very interesting question. Should I pursue my passion or should I go with what my parents and lecturers have got to say? It's a very tough question to answer. But I'll tell you, I can share with you my own experience. Okay, my own experience. Okay, I did not join aerospace engineering out of any passion for aerospace engineering. I joined aeronautical engineering because that is the only branch I was getting in the college where I wanted to study. In fact, I had no other option because I could not get admission to any other college. There was only one college where I was getting admission, and in fact I didn't get the admission initially also. Okay, I was initially I had taken a course on BSc honors in physics because I couldn't get into the I was in the waiting list and I couldn't get admission. 15 days after the selections were completed, I got I got the admission in the college where I finally did my undergraduate. And at that time I had no idea about aerospace engineering. I had no clue. I just got it because I wanted to be an engineer. But slowly and slowly, I developed interest and passion. And thanks to some excellent professors who have taught me in my second year, and also thanks to the internship I could get in the VSSC Trivandrum, I started developing interest in aerospace engineering in the second year onwards. And then slowly, I started developing interest, etc. Then I was fortunate to get a job in HAL just after completing my graduation, but through an MTech at IIT Madras. So, I was lucky in many ways. And many of my classmates actually got to work in aerospace engineering also after their BTech. But if you look at today's scenario, there are many engineering colleges and they are churning out large number of aerospace engineers. The quality is very big question mark. So therefore, uh, all the people to get accommodated in aerospace engineering companies, very less chances there. So it is difficult. Now, Lakshmi Shah, RV College in Karnataka, it is a good college. I regularly go to RV College in Karnataka. I take some guest lectures there, and I think it's a good college. You can go there. You can go there, but definitely you should prefer, if you can, to go to IITs. You can also prefer to go, if possible, to go to IITs or to go to IIST in Trivandrum or PEC in Chandigarh or MIT in Chennai before you go to the private colleges. But if you don't get them, then there's no problem. Okay, Lakshmi Shah wants to know which college did I graduate from. So I am a graduate of Punjab Engineering College, Aeronautical Engineering, 1979 entry and 1983 batch. So I got my undergraduate degree from Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh. And then, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I was taken up by HL, but I was sent to IIT Madras for MTech immediately after my BTech. After completing my MTech with some break in between because of the HL policies, I joined IIT Bombay as a lecturer, and then subsequently I went to a university called as Cranfield University for a fully funded PhD by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. So that is how I did my PhD. That is my background. I have all my degrees in aerospace engineering, aeronautical engineering. Uh, okay, so that is about myself. But let us have more interaction about you, not about me. This session is not about me, but it's about you. So yes, it's a very difficult choice whether to follow your passion or whether to follow what your parents and lecturers advise you. My take on this is that if you are very confident that you want to pursue a career in aerospace only, and you are not having any second doubts regarding higher studies, then I think you can go for aerospace engineering. So not likely that I can get admission in IIT or IISc on Trivandrum. And now I'm ranked 530 in Karnataka. So presently, RV is the topmost college. There is one more college called MVJ College of Engineering in Bengaluru, which is very good. RV also is very good. So yes, there is BMS also, which is also having an aerospace program. So yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. You can take admission to RV College in aerospace. No problem at all. If that is what you are getting, please go ahead. Okay. Any other doubts that you would like to ask? Rajdeep Kaur has a very interesting question. Aeronautical or aerospace, which is better? So first you have to understand, Rajdeep, that aeronautical basically is limited to only aircraft. So you will not learn about spacecraft, missiles, rockets, satellites if you do aeronautical. You will talk only about aircraft, helicopters, airships. So obviously aerospace is better because aerospace covers more than aeronautical. Aerospace is a superset of aeronautical. So aeronautical plus space is aerospace. Vedant has another question. If we consider a normal constraint diagram, does the feasible working space varies? Like, can it be large or it can be small too? Vedant, there could be a situation where the constraint diagram is so small that the feasible space is very, very limited. There could be a constraint diagram where the constraint diagram is so large that there is a lot of space available. It all depends upon which requirements are specified that become a constraining requirement. So nobody can say. Okay, one more question from the same student. I'm forgetting her name. The name on the computer is Lakshmisha, but she said that her name is Sumukh. So I don't know, Lakshmisha or Sumukh, whatever. Um, I can do a bachelor's in trending brand like CS and then go for aerospace in my master's. Is it a fine option? Yeah, it is a good option. It is a good option, Sumukh, but don't go to CS because after doing CS, many good colleges may not take you for aerospace engineering. Some of them will, but CS is not a branch to do if you want to do it. You should take up mechanical, electrical, or civil. Okay, then you can come to aerospace for masters. Okay. Ezi Yadav, he is giving me a heart and he says that he appreciates my teaching style and you are super in my view. So thank you so much. Thank you for your appreciation and for sending me your heart. Okay. Thank you so much. And I am also told by Noman that Sumukh is very, very active on the discussion forum, which is highly appreciated. Yes, Sumukh, if you are really so much interested in aerospace engineering, and if you are so active, then I think you should consider going for aerospace engineering and tell yourself that doesn't matter, even if I don't get a job after BTech, I will go for higher studies. If you go with that mindset, there is no problem. Then you can definitely. But again, I would say it will be a good idea to do an undergraduate in mechanical or in civil or in electrical because you can then do your appear for GATE in the same subject, mechanical, civil, electrical, and still come to IIT or ISC for MTech. So why you want to put all your eggs in one basket and limit yourself to only aerospace? Secondly, Sumukh, you can learn about aerospace engineering through NPTEL courses. You can learn about aerospace engineering research by doing internships. Okay. So students like you who are so motivated, we will be happy to give you internship. In fact, if you do well in the course, then NPTEL itself will give you internship and that will be a paid internship. They will give you some amount of money which can take care of your expenses also when you come and do internship. Once again, Namanuddin is another example of a student who has topped the NPTEL courses and he has come to me for internship. Okay. So yes, if you are really interested in aerospace, take NPTEL courses, do very well. You can top the courses, get the highest marks, and then NPTEL will offer you internship under the faculty member. I always take NPTEL interns. I like to deal with interns. My only problem is that my institute does not have any accommodation for outside people. So you will have to make your own arrangement for accommodation. Okay. Unfortunately, when you come to Mumbai, it is so expensive to stay outside that many of the students can't afford. Of course, our institute will allow you to eat in the hostels. So food wise, you are taken care, but accommodation we can't provide, and that is very expensive in Mumbai. So the NPTEL internship amount will help you. It will not take care of the complete expenditure, but at least it will be a big concession. Uh, Sumukh says that joined the course only because of passion and interest. So initially, I found it hard to understand the technical terms, but with passing time, I'm able to understand. Wonderful, wonderful, and I hope you take more. NPTEL courses, and please, please try consider joining. If you are so motivated, then I don't think you should think second. Tell your parents that I am motivated and I will not be demoralized or depressed. Even if my friends tell me that you will not be able to get job, I will say doesn't matter. I will go for higher studies. I will go for MTech. I will appear for GATE. And then based on the GATE score, you could get shortlisted for DRDO or for HL or other companies. Then you can do a job in aerospace also. Although the jobs are limited, they may not happen every year. But see, if you are confident about yourself and if you really like your subject and if you are passionate, then in aerospace engineering, sky is not the limit. You can go to any height, but you need lot of passion, lot of interest, and lot of dedication. With dedication and hard work, you can surmount any barrier. So please, if you are really so passionate, then you should go ahead. Uh, S.E. Yadav says, I'm getting more and more interested in aerospace engineering after your lectures. I'm in second year bachelor's in aerospace, Chandigarh University. Very good. Very nice. I have also visited your university a few years ago. I have not gone recently, but I am in the member of your board of studies. So once in a while, I do interact online and I would love to visit sometime. So you can tell your faculty members that I am interested to interact. I love to come to Chandigarh because my own college, PEC, is also there in Chandigarh. And I really like going back to my college. So please tell your university people that Professor Pant is interested to come and talk to the students. Now things are opening up. Vedant has a question about aircraft having pusher configuration, lower drag, even though higher angle of fuselage. Look, pusher and tractor configuration, it is chosen based on what are the pressing requirements on the design. So, it is possible to have a pusher aircraft with low drag. In fact, if you look at, for example, the Saras aircraft designed by NAL Bangalore, which is now being revived, by the way. The project is being revived, by the way. They have a pusher configuration, and one of the main reasons they have given for that is that they can get free, nice, smooth airstream on the wings and on the fuselage. They can maintain laminar flow for a larger portion and hence reduce the drag. So generally, pusher configurations, generally they have lower drag. Okay, and also, because the engine is on the back side, it is less noisy for the cabin. And also, there is something called as boat tail drag, which is reduced because you have high energy air which can be pushed. So the engine is pushing. The propellers are generally mounted in such a way that the air is thrown at a very heavy speed. It also energizes the vertical tail. So there are many advantages. The main problem is in a pusher configuration, the CG of the aircraft goes a little bit back because the engine is heavy and it is mounted behind. That can lead to a problem. And also, when you have a takeoff, because of the angle of the aircraft, the propeller at the back might actually hit the ground if it is not properly mounted. So apart from these problems, pusher is a good configuration. So it is actually a low drag configuration if you can design properly. Okay, Rohan Ramachandran, he has now come up with a question. Okay, so again, those students who are asking questions or not asking questions but are present in the meet, I would request you to type which college you are from and which year you are in. If you are working, tell us about what you are doing, where you are working. In the meantime, I'll look at Rohan Ramachandran. Sir, while analyzing a flight envelope, if there are two climb segments, why don't we write the same values of weight estimation for those two segments? The reason is that the weight of the aircraft at the beginning of each segment will not be the same. Okay, so the ratio during the climb might be the same. The W W n plus 1 upon W n for the first climb segment and W n plus 1 upon W n by the second, they could be the same. But the value of the weight at the beginning of the segment will not be the same. So therefore, we can't write the same weight, but we can write the same weight ratio. Again, the first climb could be a climb to a small altitude. The second climb could be climb to very high altitude. So if it is a very high altitude climb, just like in MiG-27, you go to 10-kilometer altitude when you want to fly at a high speed, then the ratio will be not be exactly the same. So in the refined sizing, we have explained that you could look at Mach number at the end of the climb and the beginning of the climb to get the value of the weight ratios. Aziz Yadav has a question. I have a doubt. Can aerospace engineer get a job as an aeronautical engineer? 100%. 100% because aerospace is more than aeronautical. So you know more than what is needed. So as an aerospace engineer, you have to be good in aeronautical also, and you have to be good in aerospace also. Okay. So definitely, in fact, it may be possible that as an aerospace engineer, you get a better preference in a job compared to aeronautical because the aeronautical engineer has got that way limited exposure. However, there could be a good aeronautical engineer and a bad aerospace engineer. So, depending on the requirements. Obviously, if you are an aeronautical engineer, then you will not be eligible for many jobs which require space component. You will not be eligible. They will not take you because they will get aerospace engineers easily compared to aeronautical engineers. So it is always safer to do aerospace engineering compared to only aeronautical engineering because it is a superset, as I said. You learn more and you have better exposure. You don't know where you'll get a job, right? The field is so specialized. So you don't know whether you'll get a job only in the aeronautical sector or the aerospace sector. So it's better to be an aerospace engineer so that you can be fitting in all the places. That is exactly why I said it may be better to do a mechanical engineering because as a mechanical engineer, you will be able to actually address many aeronautical problems. Rohan Ramachandran has a question that is there any other position to place the engines other than the tail and below the wing because it contributes to most of the parasite drag. You could put them on the side of the fuselage. You could put them in the nose, put them in the tail, put them below the wing, or you can put them on the fuselage side. Okay. And there are very few aircraft where they have put the engines above the wing. For example, I talk about this aircraft called as Honda Jet. Okay. I forgot the name, HJ420 or something like that. Okay. So, okay. Jay Rawal has a very interesting question. I'm very happy that Jay has asked this question. And this is applicable to all students. Why is there no partial marking in assignments? Okay. See, when you do the assignments, you are going to do it under no time pressure because you have the entire week or 10 days to do the assignment. We want to be sure that you are not guessing the answer. We want to be sure that you really know the answer. And therefore, if you answer partially correct, the answer is considered to be incorrect and you get 0 marks. So we want to do it like that intentionally. In the examination, we will not do that because in the examination, and I also know, everybody is under pressure. So in the examination, we normally give partial marking for assignment for the questions. So there may be multiple choice questions there are multiple choice questions in the examination, and in the examination, we are a little bit liberal because we know that they are working under pressure. When you are answering the assignments, you have the option to go back to the video and check again. You have an option to discuss in the discussion forum. You have the option to read again at leisure and answer the question. You also have the option to search online and clarify your doubts. Okay. So we would like to confirm that after all this hard work, you have got all the correct choices. For example, in an assignment question, maybe all 4 are correct. So if all 4 are correct, we want you to definitely mark all 4. Maybe only 1 is correct, maybe 2 are correct, maybe 3 are correct. Okay. What will not happen is that none is correct. That may not happen. That will not happen. At least 1 will be correct, but more than 1 could be correct. So we would like you to be sure. Okay, Sumuki said one person working in ISRO said that it is also possible to get recruited in ISRO or DRDO even by completing degree in other than aerospace as well. Yes, 100% true. Not not all jobs in ISRO or in DRDO are requiring aerospace engineering knowledge. You could be a chemical engineer and you can work in the uh, in LPSC, liquid propulsion, you know, center of ISRO, because they need chemical engineering knowledge. You could be a civil engineer and you may work in the Sriharikota Rocket Launching Center because they need civil engineer to look at the rocket launching. So when a company like ISRO or DRDO hires a person, they hire people for specific job. Okay. So not all engineers hired by ISRO DRDO. That is why I am saying that if you do a degree in mechanical or in civil or in electrical, these are branches where you have much larger scope for recruitment. Okay. So Sumuki says that she is interested in space science. Okay. Fine. So go ahead. If you are interested in space sciences, you can apply. You have to take admission to an appropriate university where space science is taught. Okay. Dhaval Srivastava says that he's the third year student from aerospace engineering at Chandigarh University, and yes, we would like to have you here. Definitely, Dhaval, I would be happy to be there, but you have to now talk to your people and get me there. Jay Raval has thanked me for my clarification, and Naman has said that the same clarification he has also given in the discussion. Okay. Sumuki says, I wanted to join ISRO since MCF in situation in Hassan. Okay. So if you want to work in MCF in Hassan, then I think you should work in controls. So go into electrical engineering, do a detailed work in aircraft control systems, and you might end up in Hassan. But don't get so much concerned about it. अच्छा. W Sheikh has said हिंदी में बोलो सर. शेख मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है हिंदी में, लेकिन परेशानी ये है कि सभी लोगों को हिंदी समझ में नहीं आती है. हमारे देश में इतनी विविधता है. हमारा देश एक विविध प्रधान देश है. तो हो सकता है कि मैं जब हिंदी में बोलूंगा तो आप समझ पाएंगे, लेकिन हो सकता है कि कोई और नहीं समझ पाएगा, फिर वो सही नहीं होगा. इसीलिए हम आम यहाँ पर अंग्रेजी में बात करते हैं. लेकिन आपको अगर डाउट हिंदी में पूछना है, आप हिंदी में पूछिए और मैं हिंदी में जवाब दूंगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ठीक है, कोई परेशानी नहीं है. भाषा का कोई यहाँ पर परेशानी नहीं है. देखो, आपको अगर मान लीजिए अंग्रेजी समझने में परेशानी है, आप अपना सवाल हिंदी में पूछो, मैं आपको हिंदी में जवाब दे दूंगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. ठीक है, सवाल का समाधान मिलना जरूरी है. भाषा तो एक हमारे आपस की बातचीत के लिए है ना. सो फॉर दोज हु मे नॉट अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, आई जस्ट टोल्ड हिम दैट आई एम टॉकिंग इन इंग्लिश बिकॉज we are supposed to converse in a language which is acceptable to most people. There may be some people in this group who may not be able to understand Hindi. Then they will say, why not talk in Tamil, sir? Why not talk in Malayalam, sir? Why not talk in Kannada? Why not talk in Gujarati? So, I can speak in a few languages, but then if I speak in any language other than English, some people might have a problem. That's why I'm talking in English. But if you have a problem, please ask your question in your language. If I know that language, I'll be able to answer. Rohan, week 6 drag components concept is a bit shaky for me. Is there any way to strengthen my clarity? Yes, Rohan, for anything that is not clear to you, there are two ways in which you can work. Number one is discussion forum. Number two is look at the textbook by J.D. Anderson, Introduction to Flight. It is freely available on the internet. Okay. And there is also a very low cost Indian edition available now. I think Prentice India has come up with a low cost edition in Hindi in India. So you can look at most of your doubts about drag estimation will be cleared. Another very good book on drag estimation which I really like is a book by McCormick. Okay. McCormick is a very good book for drag portion. Their drag handling is very nice. So if you look at McCormick, if you look at the textbook by Raymer, okay, Raymer is also a very good textbook for aircraft design, one of the best books available today. You will find if you want to get latest information about, especially about high-speed drag, you should look at the book by Nikolai and Carrickner, Volume 1. They have explained supersonic drag in very details. Very good detail. Even that much detail is not there in Raymer's book also. So these are some good books available. Apart from, see, you should not learn only from me. You have to learn also from the material available for us. Shantanu has made a very good suggestion to Sumukhi that you may also look in physics department, because astrophysics and pure scientific, if you are interested in space science, you may necessarily not do engineering. You can even do astrophysics. Yes, that is a good suggestion. But again, I would say you will become a specialist in a very small branch. And suppose it doesn't work out, suppose there is no vacancy, then you might actually start languishing. The reality of life is that we have to also look at employability. Okay, so therefore, if you if you want to be little bit secure with your employment, I normally recommend people to take a general branches and then specialize in the interest by doing internships or by doing projects or working on it, rather than putting all your eggs in one basket. Firoz Khan has a question about, should one make a career in CNC programming CAM after aeronautical engineering? You can, because uh, production of aircraft requires CNC programming and CAD CAM CAE knowledge, and you might be able to go into an aerospace manufacturing organization. They'll be happy that you have a basic degree or basic exposure to aeronautical and also CAD CAM CAE. You can. So I don't see any problem. In fact, there are many jobs where knowledge of CNC programming and CAM could be very useful as aeronautical engineer. As I said, you have aircraft. But Firoz, I'd like to know from you which college you are from, which year you are studying, and what is your background. That way I can answer the question much better. So friends, we have around 15 minutes remaining to ask your questions. So please do ask questions, and these kind of questions can also be asked in the discussion forum, because our teaching assistants are very much experienced in these things. Okay, so they will be able to answer. If they can't answer or if they want my opinion, they will always ask me. They consult me for all questions which they can't handle. So utilize the opportunity to ask questions, and you can also reach to me through them. Don't hesitate, ask your question. The session has been set up by NPTEL only for allowing the students to interact on a personal level with the faculty. So if you hesitate, you are only going to lose the opportunity. So feel free to interact. We are here to sort out the questions. I'm available today for another 14 minutes or so. But Nomanuddin and Shantanu Gulavani, they are available as TAs for a much longer period of time. In the discussion forum, they will be happy to take your queries. So Firoz Khan, I would like you to tell us about your background. Okay, so I think time has come for me to quickly use the remaining portion to probably talk to you about some activity. Okay, there is a question from Rohan. While doing tutorials in commercial aircraft, by taking the example of Boeing 787, it has an aspect ratio. Now, if we have a tandem wing configuration, will all calculations change? They will all change, because you'll have to get the corresponding equations for tandem wing aircraft, or you'll have to have some way of equivalent single wing. Okay? Equivalent single wing. Okay? So it all depends. I mean, the formulae may not be straight away applicable to a tandem wing configuration, but you could consider, okay, one wing is a tail, one wing is the wing, or you may say, okay, the equivalent wing is so and so, and work with that. I know it's not easy. It's not easy. The tutorial is basically meant for transport aircraft or military aircraft. Okay, Dhawal, I asked about NACDEC. Yes, actually, I have a presentation ready with me to talk about NACDEC. So yes, I'll give you some verbal information. So NACDEC 6 is going to be launched on 15th of September after about 2 days. This time there is going to be an improvement in the NACDAC. There is going to be a major change. One good news for students is that the prize money, the total prize money is going to go to 5 lakh rupees as compared to rupees 45,000 that we were giving till now up to 5th NACDAC. There is a almost 10 times higher increase in the prize money, but there is also going to be much higher increase in the amount of work that you have to do and also the commitment. So it's going to be a 2-level competition now. We used to conduct NACDAC anyway at multiple levels, but this time there will be a very solid filtration. So there will be one filtration after about 1.5 months. So currently what we are thinking is that we will launch NACDAC on 15th of September and we will give you 1 month, 15th October to register. And by end of the year, 31st of December, we will ask you to give your synopsis. Synopsis means basically summary. In that summary, we will ask you to tell us what is your plan of action, what is your team, who are going to work on what, how are you going to address the problem, what is your appreciation about the problem, which are the design challenges you will face, how are you going to handle them. So some 20-page report approximately we will ask you to submit, and we will critically examine that report, and then we will shortlist teams for what is called as stage 1. In stage 1, you will be doing in about I think in about 3 months, you will be doing basic conceptual design. And there also we will have one midterm review, and then there will be a review of stage 1. So you will finish the conceptual design work that is normally done by the students over the year. You will finish it in about 3 months' time. And then we will shortlist some of the serious teams, perhaps 50 teams or 40 teams for the second stage. In the second stage, you will be asked to do further work on that design, like the detailing of the design. The problem statement for the next year's NACDAC is going to be, or sorry, this year's NACDAC is going to be unmanned air ambulance. This is an ambulance which is going to transport an injured passenger from a location to the hospital, but it will be unmanned. So it's a very radical concept, a very, very radical concept. So we are trying to give a very challenging problem to you. There will be, so very soon. So what you do is I will just type the website details. In fact, as I speak to you, the website is being updated, I think, and it will be updated soon. So right now, the website may not be updated. It may show you only about NACDAC 5, but NACDAC 5 is over. 3 teams have won the top 3 prizes. The first prize was given to Team Safira from IIT Bombay, although I have no role in that because I am the convener, so I don't take direct interest in the IIT Bombay team. The second prize was won by the team from RV College of Engineering in Bengaluru. And the third prize was won by a team from DIAT, Defense Institute of Armament Technology in Pune. So Noman wants to know whether it is unmanned or autonomous. Noman, it is both. It is unpiloted and autonomous. No pilot on board, but there will be an injured passenger and there will be a health worker. There will be one paramedic staff. So the aircraft is supposed to carry one paramedic and the patient, but there will be no pilot. It will be flown autonomously. So all the detailed part, not detailed design, but the detailed part of conceptual design will be done in stage 2 by only the limited number of teams. So you will do the conceptual sizing and design in the first, up to March next year. Then we will say, okay, the following teams are cleared for the next stage, which is stage 2. There you will do detailed structural analysis, etc., etc. And then you will, and then there will be a final round in mid-August next year. So because the prize money is increased, and also 2 more organizations, one of them is called as SAE India, and the other is called as Art Park, which is a Section 8 company based in IISc Bangalore. They are the ones who are contributing the prizes, and also they will come on board to work with us. Okay. So unmanned, as in no attendant can be there. No. There is an attendant. There is an attendant. But there is an attendant, but there is no pilot. So the aircraft has to be unmanned in the pilot cabin. It will be manned in the passenger cabin with one patient and one patient and one paramedic staff with all other equipment, but there will be no pilot on board. Okay, so Firoz has specified that he graduated my engineering from SVN University in Sagar. Very good. And I'm happy that even though you are from an aerospace, from a university in Sagar, you are interested in taking aircraft design as a subject. So by any chance, does your university have aerospace department in Sagar, SVN University? Can you please clarify, Firoz? Because I'm not aware of this university and I would be happy to know more about SVN University in Sagar. Nauman, can you please check quickly online whether SVN University Sagar has aerospace engineering? And let us know. Okay, so we have around 7 minutes remaining now. So NACDEC 6 is going to be scaled up. It is going to be launched in a couple of days. And I hope that most of the students who are in this course, they will create a team. By the way, one more thing is that we are allowing a team of 5 people in which we are insisting that 2 people should be from aerospace or aeronautical background. The other 3 can be from other departments. Okay, so we are permitting non-aero members up to 3 in the team, but 2 people in the team of 5 we want to be from aero. And of course, there is one faculty mentor, but the faculty mentor is supposed to be essentially only meant for administrative purposes. We don't expect the faculty mentor to actually do the design calculations with you or to really guide you. We don't expect that. We expect the faculty mentor to be only administrative in nature. Okay, but there will be only one team from each institute. And remember that last date is 15th of October. And after 2 days or a few days more, you will see the announcement and the problem statement on the NACDEC website, which I have just typed and shared with all of you. So I have a presentation which talks about all this, but I don't think it is needed now. Rohan is from Amrita School of Engineering, 3rd year. So Rohan, I used to visit Amrita regularly. In fact, I was working with a team of students in 2012. They wanted to make a small airship or a small aerostat, and I was working with them. So in the years 2011 and 12, I think I visited Amrita University some 3-4 times. But subsequently after that, my association has not been able to continue further. I would love to do that. Ajay Yadav wants to know, you have worked a lot and have so much of experience. Even at this point, what keeps you motivated? My friend Ajay, this field, aerospace engineering, is so fascinating. It is so cutting edge and it keeps changing dramatically every year. Okay, whatever I learned in college is completely obsolete. Whichever books I referred when I was in college have become obsolete. Whichever theories I had learned in my college have become obsolete. I work in a research area which was never covered in my college. I want to work in the research area. With Norman, I'm working on sustainable aviation. I'm working on UAVs for Mars or for Venus, surveillance of Venus. I'm working on power generation using spinning balloons. None of this was taught to me in the college. None of these are taught to me in the college. Okay. So therefore, there is so much to learn. There is so much to enjoy that I never feel dull and I feel completely excited and motivated. And hence, because I have passion for aerospace engineering, I have absolutely no problem in maintaining, working on newer and new. And my institute gives me an option. I travel extensively. I go to universities who invite me. Next week, for example, I'm going to 2 universities in Hyderabad. Rohan, one question. Can you suggest some books for rotorcrafts? Okay. So rotorcraft design, definitely there are some good books. Offhand, I don't remember right now, but I will be able to share some information when you send it. So you put it on discussion forum and I will be able to respond to that. Vedant says, is it possible to work under you in the division of LTS systems? So Vedant, I had announced a project in IRCC research internship scheme. That project was meant for students like you. You could have come and worked with me for 4 months to 6 months. So those who have applied, they will be shortlisted for interview. If you're not applied, I really can't help it. So yes, the answer is yes. If you approach me through your institute to work on LTS systems, there are so many students working with me. Even right now, I have an intern working with me from Baba Saheb Ambedkar Technological University. He's currently in my lab. Similarly, there are many students who did online internships also. It becomes a bit tiring for me now because physically it becomes difficult. So that is why I had announced this IRCC internship scheme in IIT Bombay. I had announced one project, and if people have submitted their application, they will be shortlisted. But it is very difficult for us to open up our institute for a large number of students. Uh, Sandeep University is so nearby. It's in Nasik. You should talk to Dr. Mortha, I think your HOD, to start the association with us. We are happy to associate. We have worked in the past also. I visited Sandeep University once to give a talk also. So yes, it is very much possible. And Nasik is really a place where I worked earlier. I was in HAL Nasik for 1.5 years. So I love Nasik and I would love to visit. If your college invites me, I would definitely love to visit Nasik and work. So please talk to your faculty members and request them to invite me. I'll be happy to come. It's very nearby. It's about 4.5, 5 hours you can reach Nasik. Should not be a problem. Do you take internship on a transport aircraft? Yes, I do take internship on transport aircraft also. There are students who have worked with me on a course called as air transportation. I took about 15 interns in the last 2, 3 months. Okay. No, sorry, last 2, 3 years. I've revived a new course called as Introduction to Air Transportation. Okay. So, yeah, so, there is always a possibility to do internship, but you have to clarify, you have to, catch my attention. One very good way of doing internship is to do very well in the NPTEL course that you are studying, because as Noman will tell you, NPTEL also offers internships, and I take interns from NPTEL every year. I always volunteer for interns for NPTEL. So students who do very well in the course, those who top the course, the top 2, 3 students are offered internship. And then NPTEL pays you a little bit of money to come you get some stipend every month also for 6 months. So take advantage of that. Okay. And Naman has said, because he's experienced, he himself is the winner of NPTEL scholarship internship. So he will be able to clarify to you. So he will take your queries on discussion forum. I think now time is up. It's already 6 o'clock. Thank you so much, guys, for interacting. And I did not realize how much time has gone. We will discuss further in the discussion forum, and we will have one more session before the course ends. Thank you and goodbye. टीम को एंड कर दिया